Next item is the approval of the consent agenda, and that's an action item that will require a motion. We have a motion printed on page 5 of your agenda.
I move that the Board of Education of Wall County School District 6 approve items as presented on the consent agenda and authorize the officers to sign any and all contracts.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Comments from the board? Roll call, Ms. Richards.
Mr. DeWitt?
Aye.
Mr. Hafley?
Aye.
Mr. Hall?
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak?
Aye.
Ms. Pappas?
Aye.
Dr. Richard?
Aye.
Mrs. Solis?
Aye.
And the motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. The next item is the Professional Development Council membership. Dr. Pilch.
Thank you, Mr. DeWitt. One of the things we're most proud of here in District 6 is the professional development that we are able to offer all of our staff, our teachers as well as our classified staff. That work does not happen without the work of a very dedicated group of staff members under the leadership of Dr. Stacy Dattery. And I've got Stacy here to share a little bit with you about their work and then to recognize the folks who have served on that team.
Well, thank you, Dr. Pilch. Thank you. And good evening, President DeWitt and members of the school board. It is my privilege and my honor to be able to recognize our District Professional Development Council members tonight and to thank them for the incredible dedication and leadership that they have provided our district in the way of professional learning. The Professional Development Council was established about 10 years ago, and since that time, PDC has had a positive impact on our professional learning processes and systems that have been put in place for our teachers as well as our classified staff to take advantage of much needed learning that they have wanted to take a part in. The council is actually made up of 13 different teachers across our system, 7 administrators, and 2 classified staff representing different content areas. Our council meets about 5 to 6 times throughout the school year, each year, and our purpose revolves really around 4 main key areas. One is to collaboratively develop a professional development plan that will result in increased student achievement. The second is to create an evaluation plan that will measure the effectiveness of our professional development offered throughout the district. The third is to evaluate, clarify, and modify the professional development plan annually. And finally, it is to review and approve professional development opportunities across our district. In addition to those 4 said purpose areas for our council, this year we are also taking on the work out of Innovation 2020 and Priority 3. One of the goal areas is to develop a professional development plan that is differentiated and aligned to school and district goals and teachers' needs, and supporting programmatic implementation, and is aligned to teacher evaluation. So with this in mind, our council is in the preliminary phase of developing this plan, and that will take place over the next several months, and that we will be bringing that to you in the future. So with that in mind, that's some pretty big work that they have to do, that they've been a part of, and we're, as I said, very, very fortunate to be able to each year have these folks come around with us in this way and lead our district in the area of professional learning. So with me tonight, I'd like to honor a few of you, and when I read your name, just come on up. President DeWitt, would you like to do the honors of handing the certificates? Thank you. Thank you. So Carrie Pettyjohn is an elementary teacher in our district. She is currently at Shawshane Elementary. Frances Staubitz is a middle school CLD teacher in our district. Sorry. We also have with us Kimberly Reynolds. She is an instructional coach at 2 of our schools. Also with us tonight is Brittany Ashida. She is a high school special education teacher, and this is her first year on our council. Also serving on the council is Annette Overton. She is, as you know, our Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. Next with us is Sandra McClure. She is our Professional Development Specialist and also serves in the area of supporting classified staff and their needs in professional learning as well. And we also have with us Candy Headley. She is the Student Data Specialist and also supports us in the area of knowing what we need to do to help support our classified staff. So thank you. Thank you all for your time. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Well, the next item is a resolution contracting of motor coach buses. I'm going to accept a motion to discuss this. I'll present the resolution, and then we'll open a little bit of time for discussion from Dr. Pilch and questions from board members, if any. Accept that motion, please, at this time.
I move that the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 adopt the resolution for contracting of motor coach buses as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, and I will attempt to read the resolution at this time. Resolution of the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6, contracting of motor coach buses. Whereas on April 30, 2015, changes were made to the Colorado minimum standards governing school transportation vehicles, 1 CCR 301-25, the minimum standards. And whereas the Board of Education, the Board of Weld County School District 6, understands that over-the-road motor coach buses, or coach buses, must meet a different set of safety requirements and guidelines than traditional buses. And whereas Section 401A of the minimum standards provides that new coach buses may not be sold to the district for the purpose of transporting school-age students unless they meet all FMVSS requirements for school buses. And whereas Section 401A of the minimum standards also provides that the district must adopt this resolution prior to purchasing or renting a used coach bus that will transport students to school-related events, and whereas prior to the adoption of this resolution, the board and district gave ample consideration to the standards of safety required of coach buses to promote the welfare of students and considered relevant recommendations of national transportation standards. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of Weld County School District 6 that, number one, implementing safety standards, the district does hereby proclaim that it will adopt and implement reasonable and adequate standards of safety prior to entering into any third-party rental or purchase contract for coach buses. The board hereby delegates the authority to district staff, including any designee of the district superintendent, to adopt and implement such standards of safety. Item 2, coach bus services. District staff is hereby granted the authority, following the implementation of necessary safety standards, to determine when it may be appropriate to contract with a reputable coach bus charter services for purpose of transporting district students and staff to and from extra or co-curricular events and activities. Third-party services are likely to be utilized when the travel distance and or amount of cargo to be hauled render the use of a school district-owned school bus impractical, or when the use of a district-owned bus may adversely impact the district's primary transportation mission. Item 3, full force and effect. This resolution shall remain in full force and effect unless otherwise rescinded by the board, given under my hand and signature. Dr. Pilch, it was a pleasure to read that. Do you want to explain why I just did that?
Well, so as school districts, District 6 included, as we have all needed to do some contracting with outside services for the transportation of our students, particularly to student activities, because of the shortage of equipment, the bus, as well as shortage of drivers. The state of Colorado they have enacted a recommendation that school boards throughout the state adopt this resolution. So a law did not occur saying school boards must, enact a policy. But there was a strong enough feeling that, hey, we're transporting our most precious cargo here, our young people in our school districts. And so it's an effort on the part, and it is coming from the state level, but it's an effort on their part to encourage school districts to at least think about what's the equipment that we're using when we're renting and when we're contracting with outside services, and for us to be mindful about that, and to ask school boards to adopt a resolution saying to staff, we expect you to be mindful of these recommendations in this resolution. I do want to say, there was a very tragic school bus accident in another state recently. This is not a result of that. However, it does really draw to mind the importance of us taking all of the possible safety measures we can when it comes to taking care of our students.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm pleased to fulfill state obligation, but it is also great to confirm our intent
It
to
is.
provide the best safety possible.
Yeah, and I assume there's some districts who probably won't adopt this, but when Brad Johnson brought this to me and it had come to him from our Director of Transportation, our cabinet felt like it was prudent to bring it to the board and for us to take a stand in the form of a resolution around the importance of the safety of transporting our students.
Dr. Richard has a comment or question?
Just a question about, so the decision to make it a resolution rather than policy. The
Yeah,
thoughts behind that?
That's really the recommendation we're getting from the state level as well as from CASB. It's that simple. And I think probably because there was not a law that said school boards must adopt a board policy. And we've talked before, we always want less in policy rather than more in policy so that we have flexibility should we need it. I don't see anything in this resolution that we would not be able to uphold on our end in terms of our staff.
And so that this information will be accessible, the resolution will somehow, could potentially be tied into the section on student transportation. I guess my interest is this, is that in the future,
Oh, we could tie this back to as a reg. We sure could. That's an interesting idea. We'll take a look at that and see what seems appropriate. I think what's important is that Susan and Brad, Susan Floyd, our Director of Transportation, and Brad Johnson, our Executive Director in Operations, that, they're mindful of the adoptions. They actually brought it forward to me and asked me to bring it to you all to consider.
thanks.
Other comments or questions at this time? It's been moved and seconded. Roll call, Ms. Richards?
Mr. DeWitt,
Aye.
Mr. Hafley,
Aye.
Mr. Hall,
Aye.
Mr. Lydiak,
Aye.
Ms. Pappas,
Aye.
Dr. Richard,
Aye.
Mrs. Solis,
Aye.
and the motion carries 7-0.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Johnson, do you mind bringing back to Susan Floyd that we are grateful to both of you for keeping your antenna up and making sure we're doing the right things with our writing down what we're doing in terms of the safety we provide our students. Thank you very much.